Okay, everyone, Assalamu alaikum. A student sent me this question, and this question is relevant to AS level economics and paper one, relevant to paper one. And you can see the question on screen right now. And this is a question. You can stop the video and read this question first and try to understand what this question is explaining. And the diagram shows imposition of an import tariff. SW is the world supply. So this is SW. So this is the world supply. SW plus tax is the world supply after tariff is imposed. So if we add tariff or tax to SW, then definitely price will rise. Initially, let's say price was P. Now price will rise to P1, and now supply will be SW plus T, world supply. And this is domestic demand curve in demand within the country, and this is domestic supply curve. So in it means domestic equilibrium will take place at this point. Okay, so question says which statement is not correct? It means out of these four options, three are correct, one is incorrect. So which option is incorrect? We can identify. So option A says domestic demand will fall from Q4 to Q3. So initially at price P, when supply is SW, world supply is SW, it means against this price, domestic supplier will be willing to supply this much, that is Q1. But at this price, domestic consumers will be willing to buy this much quantity. So Q1 to Q4 is the shortage, and it will be basically fulfilled by importing goods from other countries. So domestic demand will fall from Q4 to Q3. So initially domestic demand was Q4. When tariff is imposed, supply will shift upward. And now you can see that domestic consumers are demanding this much quantity. So initially quantity demanded by domestic consumers was Q4. Now it is Q3. It means domestic demand has decreased from Q4 to Q3. So the first option is correct. So we cannot choose this answer because we need something that is incorrect. Import will change from Q1, Q4 to Q2, Q3. So initially imports were from Q1 to Q4. So this is correct option. And now the new imports will be this much. After imposition of tariff, you can see that domestic suppliers are willing to supply Q2, but domestic consumers are willing to buy Q3 quantity of goods. So now the shortage is this much, and it will be fulfilled by importing goods from other countries. So imports will be Q2, Q3. And initially it was Q1, Q4. Now it is Q2, Q3. So this option is again correct. And now moving to option D, supply of domestic goods will increase from Q1 to Q2. Okay, so initially when world supply was WSW, price will be P, and against this price you can see domestic consumers are basically purchasing. Let me change the color. At this price, domestic suppliers are supplying this much quantity, that is Q1. And when price increased from P to P1, now you can see domestic supply is now Q2. It means domestic supply has increased from Q1 to Q2. So this option is again correct. So we cannot choose it because we need something that is incorrect, because supply is increasing from Q1 to Q3. And the last option that will be the correct answer for this question, and import will fall from Q4 to Q3. So Q4 to Q3 is not fall in imports. This is fall in domestic demand. Fall in import is this much, right? This is basically new volume of imports, and fall in supply overall fall in imports will be equal to this area plus this area, right? Q1 to Q, because initially imports were this much, right? Q1 to Q4 this much. Let me change it. Okay, and now after the imposition of tariff, new imports are this much. So the change between these two will be the fall in volume of imports, and this is the fall in volume of imports will be equal to this much quantity plus this much quantity. Okay, so this is not correct answer because question is saying that Q4 to Q3 is fall in imports, while this is not correct. So we have to find out the option which is not correct. So we will choose option C. And this is it. Thank you.